Welcome to Feline 3D final version. So today we're going to cover some of the main features that we've implemented throughout the semester. So first of all is the learning mode. This is the main scene where most people will spend their time in here. And first thing you see is that the whole skeleton, there is a feline skeleton right here, the text at the top, and that is your directory. It shows where you are currently and what you're looking at. So the basic controls in Feline 3D is you use the mouse or keyboard controls. Using the mouse, first you hold right click and you can rotate around the model. If you want to zoom in or zoom out to a specific region, you can use the scroll wheel. And to move around, you can hold WASD or the arrow keys to move the camera. And as you notice, there are three different planes, and what they correspond to is the regions where parts of the skeleton is. And from this bottom right drop down right here, you can select it and you can see all the different camera perspective based on where the camera is facing into the skeleton. And once you're happy with that, you can hide your planes in case it's too distracting for you. And what you can do is that Feline 3D is an educational software, so what we want to have is a database or essentially descriptions of the bones that you're looking at. For example, the skull have all this detailed description that you can read. Same thing with any bones that have a description. You can read off of this panel right here. And for example, in the skull, if you want to see a specific model or specific part of a bone, then you can select it. And if it has a 3D model that are high resolution, then it will show like this. Controls is still the same as before. You can hold the mouse and also keyboard. And what is exclusive to the skull is that you can see the different regions based on where you're pointing at your mouse, using your mouse. And then what you'll see is all the spheres, and they essentially work the same way as your biology book. It just shows the specific point of interest in a camera or like in your scene. And the list, if you go to specific model, you'll see that this list on the right side, and they cover every single sphere that is in your bone that you're looking at right now. So if you're happy, you can just go back, and for example, if you want to go to scapula, it's the same thing. You have the different like spheres that correspond to a specific point of interest, and you can also find it here. And what you can do with the spheres is that you can click it, so it shows the name up here, and it hides all the other ones while making the one that you click more transparent. We do this since we want to show point of interest or details in the bone, so you can see what's underneath and also what's around it without being distracted. And once you're happy, you can just go back and click it again, and it will re-show every single thing. And you can go back, and that is essentially the basic features and controls in the main scene. So our next feature is the screenshot. So you can take a screenshot by pressing the screenshot button right here, or just press P in your keyboard. And if you go to gallery, you can see that there's a lot of screenshots that I've taken. And if you go to our latest photo, we can go to this one, for example. You can left click on it and then it will spawn a bigger one. And what you can do in here is that you can just draw on it. So we do this so that user can actually highlight specific parts that they're interested in, or if they want to take it as a note. Since our feature for screenshot enables you to have the image used for other purposes. For example, you can use it for your notes, you can share it to others. And for example, in this one, you can take notes. And if you're happy with it, you can just click save. And once you're good, you can say yes. If you go back, it'll show the new picture that you just added, or the notes that you added to the screenshot as a new picture. And if we go back to main menu, so today we're going to cover some of the quiz features as well, since Feline 3D is an educational software that aims for students to self-assess their knowledge, especially in the skeleton for feline. And there are three different features which I'll cover one by one. First one is true or false. If you get it right, then it'll show green. And if you get it wrong, for example, if I can get it wrong, there you go. If I get it wrong, then your answer will be shown in red and the correct answer is shown in green. And we randomize the questions as well, and same thing with multiple choice. If you get it wrong, it shows that your answer is wrong in red, and if it's right, then it'll show it in green. And what you can do is sort of read through everything. Once you're happy, you can go to the next question. and then select a specific option that you think is correct. And this way you can redo it anytime you want, and also have a feel of like more information about the skeleton. Our final quiz feature is the matching mode. In matching, it'll spawn a random bone that you can essentially match. It's connect the dots, where you have to connect all the labels, all the options, especially with the labels that is in here. And every time you go to it, it will spawn a different bone. And for example, if I somehow can get it right, oops, it's not that. So it shows that it's wrong, and it'll show that you have a -10 on your point. And if you get it right, you get a +100. So every time you get it wrong, it'll go -10. And if you get it all correct, then you can have a try again. It'll spawn a different bone. And that is essentially basic features. And if you miss anything, you can go to the tutorials. It covers the basic controls, how you can grab the images of the screenshot that you've taken in gallery, and also the quiz features. If you click anything, and just play the video. And that is the basic features of Feline 3D. Thank you.
So this is the main menu for our VR version. We have learning mode, which is basically you can inspect the skeleton, and to quiz mode, imported from our PC version, and one quick button. Go to learning mode. So we've made instructions attached to the controller so that user can see each button functionality when they're inside the application. And there is information panel attached to the left hand. So when you're pointing on bone, it will display the name of the bone and then the description of the bone. And you can select specific bone when you're pointing at it. Selected bone's name and description will be kept in the information panel. If there's asterisk after the name, it means the bone has a high resolution model, which can be generated by user. When the bone is selected, you can use X and Y on the left hand controller to scale up and down that bone. And you can use left hand joystick to move your character's position. To rotate the model, you can use right hand joystick. And you can spawn high resolution model by clicking A on right hand controller when you're pointing on that bone with asterisk after the name. And the bone will be created in front of the player. You can hold the hand trigger to drag the bone. And if you want just to rotate the individual bone, you can do it by first selecting and then move the right joystick. And you can see the name of different part of that bone when you're pointing on the blue sphere, which we call info sphere. And you can also delete those individual bones by clicking right joystick. Go back to main menu and then quiz mode. The quiz mode is basically the same as our PC version. You can choose answer using your right controller. And if it's right, it shows green. If it's wrong, then it shows red. For VR quiz mode, we add a skull below the UI. Whenever you choose an answer, if it's correct, then the skull will become bigger, and if it's wrong, then the skull will become smaller. And that's all for our VR version.